saying there are far fewer than I expected. Far fewer. So how to increase the time that we spend for creating public goods, non-excludable, non-rival consumption, non-subjectable, common goods which are available to a community, and that's the question. I must say I haven't the formula for dividing the right mix, but this is the thing, constantly.
Now, on this stage with me, I did some rough calculations and I have more than a century of experience here. And all of you have devoted a lifetime, sustained a lot of pain. The question I wanted to know is, as much as this is inspiring, it is also daunting. Is it okay not to commit that lifetime of pain or of work to an idea or to a cause? Not to commit a lifetime. Not to. Because in this new age, I mean, there are so many verticals rising. You want to change your career immediately. Like, one day you see somebody do science, you want to do that. The next day you want to go into biology. The next day you want to...
We've been told 12 careers in a lifetime of this generation.
Yeah,
not even 12 jobs.
12 careers that on average people switch. So the whole concept of devoting a lifetime is something very abstract to me here. So I was wondering.
So, to be honest, it's not a career for us. That's the most important part. It's not at all a career for us. We're not going to get a degree out of it. And also, if you talk about idea, we are not devoting our life to a particular idea. I mean, you see how it goes on, how the things come out. I mean, from a school, in this Ahmedabad, the bigger idea, something which has come is this. For what all of us are sitting. We just started as a school, but because you were open to the ideas, you wanted to maybe experiment more, you wanted to involve more people, that's why this entire leadership concept came. So I think we are constantly evolving, we are constantly growing. So there is every day is a new day for us, to be honest. I mean, we don't get bored out of it because there is newness.
Because of this idea, she's getting younger.
No.
I love the perspective.
Yeah.
And I think evolution, everybody wants an evolution, right? Sometimes evolution seems from jumping from career to career. But I think if the evolution comes from the source of the idea, it becomes richer and deeper and more meaningful, and then therefore it doesn't seem as if it is jaded or stagnant. And I think somewhere the commitment is that, commitment and loyalty to the idea rather than a job. And I think that's really what is emerging. The other question we really wanted to ask you is this. We've heard a lot about Gandhiji's Be the Change, right? A lesser known, though equally important quote was, take care of the moment, Gandhiji said. So the only moment, I mean, for all of us, I mean, we can say we want to live 50 years now, or grow younger, but we only have right now. This breath is the only moment we have. How do we take care of this moment? How do you all, every single day, wake up and say, I'm taking care of the moment? So what can you teach us, or what can you share with the audience that says, take care of the moment?
Don't take care. That's the answer.
Wow.
Just don't take care of the moment. Be there. When you say you take care, you are manager, you are supervisor, you are a boss. That moment is gone.
Be the moment.
Be the moment. And I can tell you that many times students ask me the same question. How do you get this under research? We went recently to Bhutan, and that was the way we started to show the other course that I made. So, of course, students sometimes feel ashamed or embarrassed that they can't walk as well or they can't trek as well in mountains, and I love mountains. So I said, look, first of all, you should remember that I don't do ever any job. I have fun and I get paid for it. Right? So if all your life you can be paid for having fun, why would you do a job? Why then tell you for the time?
Did not say, oh my God, there was my banking job.
Have fun and be paid for it. And that's the way life should be. And that's only possible when the work, the life, the moment all merge.
You said that. Life, love, and
life living, loving and learning. And I want to live at the intersection of the three circles. And at no cost will I live anywhere else. Nobody can live and move out of that space. That's such a beautiful space. Every moment you grow. Because you learn. You learn because you learn. And you learn because you learn because you live. Live every moment. So I think that is the secret of not only energy all the time, but also a state of blissfulness. So that we never get tired. I don't know the meaning of the word boredom. I sometimes feel surprised when children say that.
Yeah.
My God, boredom essentially means lack of interest. Right? If you are not,
So can you just say that twice?
you know, the boredom is sign of disinterestedness. You are not interested in the moment. That is the converse of living in the moment. So if you want to find out whether you're living in the moment or not, ask yourself, was there a moment when you felt bored? If yes, you have not lived that moment.
Lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's so beautiful to hear you speak, but I think for me, I'm not good enough at that, living in the moment. I struggle with it. And I know that those times when I feel the happiest, the most fulfilled, are those times when I'm fully in the moment. Like I'm just with the person who I'm with, and my mind isn't wandering to the future or the past. But it's difficult for me to stay there. I think what helps me is just becoming more aware of that, because I really do believe that the only thing we have is this moment, and that this moment is going to determine the future. You know, I believe that very strongly intellectually, and I think what helps is just reminding myself and creating that awareness. And because even now on the panel, like there are times, and when it's so, especially since you introduced me as being a listener, I was so conscious of being fully listening, because I'm not going to get this time again. But even in this panel, I found myself, you know, my mind wandering on what should I say and does this make sense and how do I make it, and I'm bringing myself back to the moment. So I think just a struggle for me right now still.
So I personally feel that you have to enjoy every moment, what the professor also said, and that's what I do. Also, the second important thing is that you can't have two faces.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes, but they will show up.
Sure. You know, like I tell you, there was a phase, that's what I always tell people. Just because you've entered, if I talk about myself, just because you've entered in the social sector, you know, which has different kind of expectations from people that you should behave like this, you should behave like this. You can't operate like this. You know, if once in 15 days in the evening I need rum with coke, I need rum with coke. Bottom swirling in 15 These are issues. That was simple. You know, it has to be very simple. You have to simplify things in your life if you want to achieve something, if you want to do something else. You can't be complicated about things. You can't be like, if this person comes in front of me, I'll talk like this. If this person comes in front of me, I'll talk like this. This is something I don't know. That's not my way of operating. And that's why the life is simple. That's why we enjoy every single moment. There was a time when, especially when I used to come from, say, back from the rural India, say remotes of Bihar, Odisha, Jharkhand and all the disaster affected areas, the moment you enter, say, in the airport, and after that when I used to come back home, for almost 2-3 days, I was absolutely silent. I was not reacting to the life. Because that used to be the shock, that used to be the contrast which you know. But then ultimately you find a purpose. In that contrast you find a purpose. You see that you exist because that contrast exists. So you have a purpose to take care of that contrast. Today it is not that painful, to be honest. Few years back it was very painful. Just because we started again living in the moment.
Anshusa, you talked about making it simple. And a lot of the things that we struggle with ourselves at Riverside and personally is, where do you find a space for logic and for reason and for foresight in the work that you do? Because a lot of the things, looking at your life story, it's been spontaneous. You've seen children do something, you've seen children, you've had that pinky moment, and you've just kind of done something spontaneously. Where do you find the space to be logical about what you're doing?
You know, life cannot be operated with the logic system.
Say that
You know,
twice.
So you need to be logical at various places because you have to understand the situation and then operate. What is logic? Logic is something on which you keep working. Some mind is working and then that mind proves that it is the logic. But I don't agree with that. I personally feel that this is how the solution has to be. It might not fit with the theory of the biggest thinker of this world. It might not.
This is very tough for Dinat to hear.
He has to, send him to do it for internship for 15 days. I make sure that
On the way, we had dialogue. And I said, what do you want to do? He said, I want to do physics. I said, all right. And what is physics? He said, subatomic particles. So I said, have you ever talked to electron? I said, what? I said, electrons and neutrons have been on this earth far longer than we have been. Civilization is only 50,000 years old. So let's have a dialogue with a neutron. I said, what do neutrons do? So I was wondering for a minute. So I said, you know what? When we want to find out moisture under the ground, we use a neutron probe, we bombard the neutron particles, and the number of particles which rebound, we calculate how much water is there. He said, that's interesting. Then I asked him what Heisenberg principle is, uncertainty is, but very logical answer. I said, but tell me what would these particles think when the water refuses to accept them? They feel rejected. What is the feeling? What is the feeling of that neutron? I'm sure he was completely confused as to why can this professor talk about feelings of neutron, but why can't they be feelings of neutron? They have been here for billions of years. They are much wiser than us, I suppose. No?
He doesn't believe that.
So I think the spontaneity that you rightly mentioned is the crux of the matter. Sahaj bhav is what Sahajta. Just being there and being on the spot of the moment, taking decisions, and more you can, and if you want to find out how spontaneous you are, at the end of the day, make a small balance sheet of 10 things that you remember, how many of them you did just on the spot. And if you didn't do anything, you probably need reformatting of your hard disk.
And those particles have to reform.
Yes, because there is no way we can enjoy the moment if there is no spontaneity. It doesn't matter how foolish we may be at that moment, doesn't matter. And sometimes it's fun to be foolish.